a lot of times what can cause back pain isn't necessarily what continues it. So if you had an injury once upon a time and that seems to have gone away, you might still have some residue of it in your connective tissue, shortening things up and never being quite resolved or balanced out. What Rossiter can do is treat the source rather than the symptom. We want to look at where is this coming from and what's the imbalance in the body, specifically the connective tissue.
A Rossiter coach is going to ask you a lot of questions about your back pain. What side of the body is it on? Is it throbbing? Is it nervy? Does it run down your leg? What are you doing when you feel the back pain? Because we're not considering a spot of pain, we're considering the connective tissue lines. So a Rossiter coach will work with you to isolate stuck connective tissue and guide you through a series of movements to release and restore that tense and burdened connective tissue.
So sitting, for example, we're sitting on our legs, and those legs and the connective tissue within them are in a shortened position, meaning you're in hip flexion, right? So everything in the front line is shortening up your hip flexors, your quads, and especially your hamstrings, which you're adding a weight load upon. And it's almost like a bonsai tree. You're training it to become shorter. And as that shortens up, it doesn't just affect your legs, but everything upstream. It's all connected. So if you think of how a pulley system works from front to back, and if your back line is getting tight or your front line, instead of the hips being in balance like they ought to, right, like a box would balance itself, you can have things out of symmetry, and you can have what's called anterior pelvic tilt, where the hip flexors and the quads are the stronger of the two sides. And now the back is in compromise. When this happens to your pelvis, you're not going to walk around this way immediately. You're going to actually fight that and try to be on the level, but now your pelvis is fighting you. And you won't feel this tightness in your legs, obviously. You'll feel it in your back, the part that's most compromised.